Very good to everyone. Welcome to one more video. In today's video, I'm going to show you. Look, we're in front of the latest boxes that NZXT has launched, such as the H7 Flow and the H9 Flow 2025, presented just a few weeks ago at Computex. Both cabinets are high-end with a fairly similar size. They are not the same, but it is true that they have a big difference in their physical appearance, in their design. The idea of this video is to get a little clean. Does the design, the size influence the temperatures that our CPU can reach internally? And also design influences or favors or disfavors when it comes to how to say it, containing sound inside the cabinet, or is it practically the same?
It doesn't matter if it's very big or very small, as long as they more or less have a similarity. Nor is an IT case going to be the same as an ADEX. I know that. That's why I looked for these two boxes that are similar in sizes.
The comparison, as I said, is going to be general. If you want to see more detail each of these boxes, I leave you the link in the description of this video, the review of one and the other, so that you can find out in depth what each box is about.
I'm going to start with the H7 Flow with a pretty traditional size and design, right? A box, a tower, a cabinet. A cabinet like that is a little taller than the H9, but hey,
as I say, it has a traditional shape. It has a mesh panel on the front, as you can see, on the top and on the back side. And also the good thing about this box, that we are going to open it. It has enough space back here to be able to pass the wiring, and this helps a lot to make everything much neater and easier to install each component. In addition, it is also, of course, compatible with any liquid cooling, and we may also need multiple fans, which I think is up to 10 fans in total. So the truth is that it is a good box. Cute, colorful, white, as you know that I like white boxes or cabinets. So, quick view of the H7. Let's move on to the H9. But before the H9, something also important, to assemble the components is quite easy, to be honest. It's not very complicated because it's a wide box, although it doesn't have a lot of space in the back. But well, as I said, that to accommodate the cables, the anchor points, or those Velcros, that it has helped a lot. And well, the truth is that the editing is not complicated, to be honest. It's simple, it's not complicated. Well, the same thing. Like I said, similar in size, we can say in liters, it's pretty much similar. But this one has a totally different design, as you can see with the naked eye. It has two tempered glasses, one side and front. Then, the availability of fans changes a little, of course. The front ones are half-cornered, as you can see there. And also something very important that makes it stand out from this, it has a dual camera. Basically, the box is divided in two. A part that is this part that we see that the main components go. Plague base, progressor, graphics, and fans. And in the most hidden inner part, it's where the power supply, discs, and all the wiring goes. This helps, one, to make it visually much cleaner of cables that you can hardly see any. And two, it also helps to separate due to temperature issues. Because, well, the power supply, when we are using it to the full equipment, raises temperature. And in principle, it should help not to heat up the entire equipment in general, which a priori should have better airflow or better cooling. Then for the assembly, well, it's 10 times simpler than this because we have twice the space, and as I said, that double camera makes it much easier for us. The management of wiring and being able to assemble the equipment, because we can remove the two windows. They can be removed. So we're going to work much more comfortable than in this case with this one. The goal of this video is to compare them, as I said, these two, H7 and H9, and see if either of the two boxes cools better. Because of its size and design, it is basically that. And to get rid of the doubts too, do you need to have a double camera so that it reflects better than a traditional one? Well, we're going to look at it and also see which one keeps the sound inside the cabinet the most. Something extremely important, of course, is that I'm going to use the same components on the H9. I use them on the H7. The only difference is that since this one only admits a 120mm fan on the back, well, I did it with the 120 and on the H7 with 140. To do the tests, I used 3 programs, which is the Furmark, which is to put to the max, make a merge mark of both the CPU and the graphics, to measure temperatures on HWinFo 64. Well, let's see the maximum temperatures of each test, and well, I'll use that for that, and then the NZXT cam, which is to control the speed of the fans. I didn't do the test at rest, okay? I did all of them in full graphics and full CPU separately, not all together. And with that, I'm going to put the fans at full. And by the way, I see which one cools better with all the fans, radiator, everything at full. And which one do I use to see the decibel issue, the sound, to see which one expels more sound, and then nothing else. So I don't think I see anything else. Let's see if, that's right. Let's start with the H7 flow tests and results. The first test I did was the CPU test that I ran for 2 minutes, and the result it gave us was a maximum CPU temperature of 85 OC. The truth is that nothing bad, beyond comparing them later. Then, when doing on the GPU, on the graph, in this case it gave us 615 degrees. It is okay. I was aware that he is at full throttle. Pretty good. And after decibels that I used, which I didn't say, there he is. This is a sound level meter. I bought it a couple of days ago on Amazon for this. So well, this is the sound level meter with which I did the decibel test. And it gave me a result of 614 here in this room. It was on different days, but well, the ambient noise was the same because I looked for a moment when there was silence. So nothing. That was the result of the H7. Let's move now with the H9 Flow 2025, the result of the CPU. The temperature also for 2 minutes was 85 degrees, exactly the same as the H7. Then, in the GPU, look, it was a little higher, also at the same time, obviously with the same software of, and then, on the subject of sound, with the sound level meter, I was surprised, yes, because it gave a higher level of decibels, 637 decibels against. Well, it was 2 or 3 decibels more. I thought that the truth was going to contain the sound a little more. On the subject of temperatures, it is true that I knew it wasn't going to make much difference, really. It is true that it catches my attention a little. It is true that the temperature of the GPU is a little higher. Amazon arrived. I'm going to attend to him, and I'm coming. Well, here I got the Amazon thing. You are going to witness what I bought live. Not live, because this is recorded, but I bought something for the H9. Since we're in the show, guys, and it's a 120mm RGB fan, because like I said, I have the 140 in this box, but I can't install it. So I had to buy a 120, just like the 140, but 120, so nothing. This was the what I got from Amazon. Let's continue with the video. Now, I don't remember what we were up to. Yes, we are in the final part of the video, because we have already done the tests. In other words, now I have to draw or communicate to you my conclusions, which are perhaps the ones that many of you will have drawn after doing or seeing, or rather, these tests, that there is no difference. A degree more this, which seemed a little strange, but well, it can be a little more than this. But well, in summary, and I also make this video to get rid of me, mainly me, that doubt. Also, so that you also know, it is that, compared to a tower similar in liters and size, but with different designs, the design does not or will not improve cooling. I reiterate, according to the tests I did with the temperature conditions of this room. So I'm going to get to myself for that, obviously. So, is the design worth it for temperatures, and while we're at it, the sound it radiates or contains? No. According to this, no. So if you have any of these doubts, you know what the result is. Of course, and it is obvious, you are seeing it and in the images that I have left you surely in the video, that a box with a double camera gives us much more margin to be able to show or visualize our components, which is much more beautiful. So that was the idea of this video, and I hope it has helped you at least to get rid of that doubt. If it helped you. Or whatever is a positive thing. I'm going to ask you to leave a like, subscribe to the channel of course, and share, guys. I'm going to ask you please, if you liked it or found it useful, to share it so that I can reach more people, because lately YouTube is very difficult. If you liked it, like I said, I'm going to ask you to share it. Without further ado, thank you very much for being there, and as always, any questions, queries, or comments, you leave it in the comment box, which you know I will answer no matter what. A day, 2 days, but I'll answer it no matter what. Without further ado, thank you very much for being there, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.